Quickly, we try to make this recording. We've had trouble trying to charge our phone. As soon as we can charge the phone and finish writing to you for other things we want to tell you, and we have video we want to post too, as soon as we can, we'll do that. But I want to tell you right now something really important. Okay, basically, this is it. Okay, first of all, crooked cops are being arrested that obviously were involved in the death of our beloved Bundu Baba. Abdul Zab King Hussein and the death of our beloved Abdul Nasik Prince uh, King Abdullah and Nasik Queen Rania. And so because I said, and they died like over 40 years ago. All right, so Shavi and I are grown now, but we're still the same as we were before inside. And so let's to quickly tell you about Archangel Uriel. Yes, so with Archangel Uriel, he has a wife. His wife's name is David. Okay, so let's get to. And God named me and my beloved husband came up Shabbat after Archangel Uriel, who didn't fall, and his wife, Navi. But also giving us those names, we also are named of the books of Nabi. We have all the names of those with our name. So those are also our names. And one day I went home with them. That's how they saw them. And then I got in trouble because they were trying to tell me it's wrong to go home with strangers. They said, and they came back into the city where the struggle is, and then God spoke. So she did that too. And I'm going to tell you, we told you a little bit more about also what happened before he left. He went home to his wife, which I said, and he at the location of Syria. He's part Syrian, part uh, part Syrian, part he's part Syrian, and he's part um, Jordanian. Which I said, but he's actually a high holy archangel, and that didn't fall. So just like that too. So I borrowed somebody's pen, and they were asking me for it back. So just let you know too. Okay, so now also to make a long story short so those people in the square, they're really crooked, as I said, and they're being arrested, okay, for what they did to our beloved Abdul King Hussein, Boon Yuk Baba. This is it, and that's Charles Manson's son. Now, because that one with the hair, he was going to try to kill me and my beloved sister. He tried to tell people he was God. They're really criminal. And our relative, they murdered, who was crippled. He was an art student. He was, no, he's an art teacher, and his art student murdered him. As I said, and then the art student came up dead, and after he was murdered, he was poisoned. Toxicological reports said he was poisoned. But so the crook police was actually going to try to take his identity off the cripple that just saw. But he was obviously he was actually almost as crippled as your beloved relative Abdul Stephen Hawking. Which I said so. I used to say he was like a pretzel. He'd have to use his wheelchair but he'd have to just have his crutches standing use right by his wheelchair to get in his wheelchair, and then he'd have to get from his wheelchair to his bed. As I said, and or if he was just teaching, he'd have to have his wheelchair right by him with his crutches. Okay, so also so they're being arrested. Okay, those people that did that to us there, all of those, and so and they came telling me to shut up and leave and blah blah blah. And you know, if Dodi Primania and Abdul King Abdullah were alive, all these people would have gone a lot quicker. Just as I said so. Shab and I were in one succession, and so we became king and queen. When King Abdullah and Queen Rania were murdered in a kid abduction, they were murdered by the Americans. The Americans lied to the bad Americans. Warning, when our people that can come out of there, they will make it. Our people who are to come out of there, they will make it, all of them. So it's a long story short. Now we have something to tell you. Everybody heard that the walk on the moon was a hoax. It was a hoax because our relative Abdul Nasik Neil, not his last name Armstrong, he was actually Russian, and he kept telling the Americans they would never walk on the moon. Okay, so they killed him when he went to tell everybody that it was a hoax and that was like, uh, like photo generated done on a launch pad, some fake thing. And we were all there to help him tell. And they came and said that they would just kill us all. He said, "Well, how can you explain how killing these children?" And they'll say, "Well, we just say that it was a breach and we didn't know what it was, and then we killed you all, and then we said it was a mistake." They just said, he said, but so he told him, he said, "Well, that we're Rothschild's children, so the Americans were unable to kill us." They said, and but then after he did that, and after we said we tell, they killed our relative Abdul Nasik Neil, not his real name Armstrong. He was actually Russian. Shabi and I went to Mir Space Station. We were probably the only two children ever went to space. Because that we went with Russia because we're from over here. Abdul Nasik Neil was married to Doda Iman Nasika Judy Resnick. So now you know why they blew her up in the Challenger. And then they also blew up our relative in Colombia, who was also Israeli, over here, including Judy. And they said, and they killed him because they knew the truth. They killed our relative that went up in Colombia too. because he knew the truth. They killed their own people to try to get to ours. Okay, so now we want to talk to us if we can, try to take over. We'll write everything that we are able to write as soon as we can. We have a picture of that little pebble-like bullet. It's like between my two fingers. I will show you that too, because it was really quite small. Now we're talking to, oh, a homo came with a zip gun. As I said, he was picked up. As I said, and they sold us Doppler soldiers. We don't keep that. As I said, we saw them. As I said, you know, they did that on purpose. That's Hitler made. Hitler told people he was God. You know, that fake thing that's not real. So we told you that's the son of dawn. And tried to match God and make things that were crooked and not correct. That's the devil, that other thing. We're God's people. We live for eternity. Mosaic law is for all eternity. That's why everybody has to realize. I was glad that when Mosaic law came in, that God's is for eternity is similar. It's stronger, and we live for eternity. This is it. And so we'll talk to you as soon as we can.